So we are here with a new month, which means new energy. And I have not been consistently doing energy updates every month anymore. But for this month, I definitely felt that it was a good idea to do one. There has definitely been a big shift energetically that has been noticeable, not just for me, but a lot of people, a lot of clients, a lot of friends, a lot of other intuitive people are saying, whoa, are you feeling this shift? And it's starting to become this kind of mantra in the new age. Oh, are you noticing the energetic shifts, the upgrades, blah blah blah? And I am becoming tired of seeing this because it's the same every month, every month. But the thing is, this month it is definitely the beginning of a whole new cycle in this purging cycle that has been the entire 2025, basically. And with the purging has come a lot of activations. And if you go back to in the very beginning of the year, my Golden Dragon timeline reading, I did say that the second half of the year, if I remember correctly, we were gonna start to really notice a lot of big changes taking place, a lot of shifts individually and also just collectively. So basically, I did a little written update this morning on Instagram, and that was all very spontaneous, just kind of came out of me. And September is going to bring shifts, but also a lot of shedding of the leaves. So that's kind of what came through. I noticed a little mushroom in the grass outside, and I decided to take a picture of it, and it became clear that the weather here is very different. All of a sudden it really like shifted into fall weather. And both Ryan and I were talking about it yesterday, how we can feel that this fall season is going to be a cleansing that may really result in some external symptoms that we are clearly going to see play out collectively in the world. And I don't usually feel this way this clearly, but like this about the month of September, October, November specifically. So we are now really entering this entire shedding of the leaves phase. And that doesn't mean that you have to be afraid of, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because we've been going through this the whole year. And what I did is I pulled a card, and it kind of lines up exactly with the stuff that I've been feeling. Energy clearing, freshening. It's the broom card. That's what this says. And I also pulled one of these tree oracle runes, and this is the symbol for the pine, which is all about purification, cleansing, also releasing guilt, releasing obligations, places where you have felt guilty for letting people overstep your boundaries. So that's the stuff that is now all going to be coming up, but also collectively, we're going to start to see this play out on a larger scale. Now, I have some notes here. We have eclipses happening, we have retrogrades happening, we have all kinds of celestial planetary alignments, of course, happening again. There's going to be a total lunar eclipse on September 7th, is what is going to be happening. And if I remember correctly, I thought something went into retrograde today, but I may be mistaken. But there's going to be this entire lunar eclipse on September 7th. And what I wrote was, let old patterns dissolve, let any energetic or emotional baggage be released, and invite in greater freedom and higher timelines. Take time for quietly releasing what you no longer need. So this is going to be happening on the 7th. And this is definitely something, so now in this video, I'm going to go deeper into that written post that I did this morning from the Seraphim perspective, the Golden Dragons. So they are definitely here to really start to assist even more people. More people are going to be kind of pushed towards a timeline where it's going to become very difficult to offer resistance to what is in their highest alignment. It is going to really become difficult. It's like you're shaking a can of Coke and you're trying to keep it all in there, but the lid has already popped open. You cannot really keep it in there. And the more that you're trying to keep that in there, the more effort it's going to cost you. So that's what's happening. You have to kind of allow for whatever is moving out of your life to just move out of your life. And this lunar eclipse is going to assist you in this if you are ready to just not be afraid. And that's really the theme of September and October and November. Do not be afraid. That is what they keep saying. Not afraid of like crazy stuff happening or like the apocalypse. That's not what I mean, but we are all individually going through these things in our life that are making us feel uncomfortable, that kind of make us feel paralyzed, afraid. For you, it could be your job, that you don't feel very secure in your job. You may lose your job. For another person, it is not knowing where they're going to live. For another person, it is family connections or friendships that are shifting. These things are making you feel afraid. And the dragons are saying, lean into it. Do not be afraid. Allow for this to move out of your life. Whatever it is, or maybe it's gonna just recalibrate a little bit, look a little bit different. So that's what they're saying. There is a partial solar eclipse on September 21st. And by this part of the month, you'll notice I wrote here more healing energy, and you have become used to needing more self-care this month. This month is all about us getting back into embodied routines, setting boundaries, and really looking at life's distractions. So a part of the not being afraid is by realizing that the stuff around you, is what the dragons are saying, is constantly in motion. It is constantly in motion. And by trying to hold all these things and keep them from moving, you are not stable. So the only thing that you can do right now, or that you are really being invited to do, is to really find stability within yourself, regardless of all the things, the pieces on the chessboard, let's call them that are moving around in your life. If you know where you are, if you know what you can do to control your life today, then that is your power position. And basically, you are going to need more self-care. You're going to have to stop going outside of yourself. For all these things that are happening in your life right now is really a time to kind of pull your energy back into yourself, as we are getting closer and closer to the fall equinox, to officially entering fall season. Now, we also have, of course, oh, I knew there was something happening. Saturn apparently went retrograde today. Again, I always say this, I'm not an astrologer. What I'm doing is I go and look up online. These things are happening because I can feel that stuff is shifting, because I'm constantly communicating with the seraphim. I'm communicating with the angels. I'm communicating with my higher self, and just tuning into what I'm feeling collectively, energetically, and then I'm gonna see what is going on in the sky with these planets, with these different retrogrades that are happening. So Saturn went into retrograde, and it is all about boundaries, emotional frameworks, self-discipline, self-reflection. Many will settle lessons that emerged since 2023. This is definitely coming up for me, and it's about completion. It's again shedding the leaves of the tree. You're holding on maybe to some of these things that you can release. people, emotions that are not yours, not having the self-discipline is about, I think, kind of letting people in, then not having a standard for yourself. Like, okay, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to be focused on right now, and then you are kind of deviating from the standard that you have set for yourself. And this ties in with what I just said about having the routine, being stable, and not trying to constantly go outside of yourself to control all these moving elements that are creating. It's the wind that is blowing all the leaves out of the tree. So that's what that feels like to me. And Uranus, starting September 6th, is also going to be going into retrograde. Now, again, I don't know much about these planets. Ryan knows more, my husband. He knows more about these planets. I have a few friends that are very skilled astrologers. They know a bunch about this. I'm kind of reading off of the notes and then tuning into what I've been receiving from the dragons, how I've been feeling this kind of. So, with Uranus, it says here how you create more freedom, innovation, and maybe your routines and social roles. So the boxes that we put ourselves in are limiting our authentic expression. Again, we may be, and I just did a video on this, find it on my channel, watering ourselves down subconsciously to not upset people. And that means we're overstepping our own boundaries, which means other people are easily going to overstep our boundaries because we don't really have a clear boundary. We have this tiny wall that's 1 brick high, and we are constantly just like, oh yeah, whatever, it's here, but you can step over this. People don't see your boundary. So it's about really refining who you are, what you stand for, and what is your true authentic expression. And this is exactly what the golden dragons assist us with, the seraphim. They are all about burning away illusion and illuminating the truth. This is something, and as I'm saying this, 5 birds just landed there. Whoa, okay, because there is, I guess, a storm happening. So the dragons are here with a storm, thunder, and lightning. So what is happening is that this period, September, leading up to October, November, we're going to see this collectively, but we're also going to see this again in our own lives. That, again, it's the Coke can. Somebody shaking this can, and it's all of you trying to, like, your life. You're trying to contain all these pawns in your life. The thing is, right now is really the time to stop trying to be liked by everybody. Because there are people, because it's so chaotic right now with a lot of stuff that's happening, that need your frequency. And it's not specifically about mission or work, or if you are a spiritual person and you are trying to find like-minded people. It's not even about any of that. It's really about connections, soul connections, whether that is at your job, in your family, you speaking up about the things, like, without negotiating. You are not going to let people step over your boundary and be like, oh yeah, this is what I stand for, but if you stand for something else, I will just not stand for what I believe in anymore. But at the same time, we also have to have compassion. And that was not in my written message, but this is something that has been coming through really strongly from Mother Mary. Compassion through setting your boundary without judgment, where you can see that other people are still in this place of paralysis and fear that I just mentioned in the beginning, where you're being invited to really break through the fear. But that also means that you cannot then point the finger at somebody that is reacting from some kind of soul trauma, because we are in times where there's a lot of stuff happening politically, wars, a lot of this stuff is triggering immediate celestial trauma from other lifetimes that may have happened on this planet, but more than likely that will have their origin, the trauma of these reactions, in other star systems, in other lifetimes. And so people are responding in a very amplified way to certain situations that are now taking place. And we're going to start to see this. We have been seeing this, a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and they are just kind of butting heads without compassion. And so you're being invited to really step into that authentic expression while holding compassion from a place of non-judgment for the people around you that may not see what you see, because it may also not be for them to see that. They may have a whole other plan in life that they have to, and a whole other path that they have to walk. And Ryan and I have done some videos on that specifically. What is judgment? What is discernment? And what is the difference? When is something judgment? When is it discernment? And setting your boundary without any like resentment for anyone that is basically not ready to hear this boundary, because this boundary is going to be there, and then it shouldn't matter how they respond, because if that wall is this high, then the boundary is just not strong enough. You have to make sure that this boundary is high enough, this wall is built strongly enough, but keeping compassion in your heart for those that may be in fear, that may not understand, that may be so blocked in their fear, in this paralysis, that they cannot even begin to try to understand. So let's move on. Pluto, Neptune, and Chiron remain in retrograde, continuing to guide shadow work, spiritual clarity, and identity healing. That's basically what I just said. Neptune is all about the emotions. So with water, compassion, Mother Mary, it's all connected. All of those things are connected. Expect a month of powerful releasing aligned with deep inner activations and choice points, followed by intentional new beginnings and embodied healing practices. But it all comes with a caveat, and that is to not be afraid of the rapid shedding of the leaves. So that basically kind of confirms the stuff that has been coming through from the dragons. Do not be afraid. This is for your own good. The shaking of the Coke can, let's call it that. But that is also like a tree that is being like blown in the wind, and all the leaves are falling. It is for your highest alignment. Imagine if this tree panics. This tree panics and it's trying to hold on to all these leaves. It's you going outside of yourself, trying to hold on to all the moving pieces. The tree is just letting it happen. So be like a tree and let the leaves fall. That's what I would say. So some reflection questions for the month of September. What emotional or spiritual patterns feel ready to unwind? Where can I bring clarity or boundaries into my daily life? How can I nurture renewal rather than push for change? So these are some things. Just keep this in mind as you move through September. This is going to look very unique for you. It is not going to look like what your neighbor is going through. And we will see this kind of play out on a collective level too. So if you want any guidance on this, I am never going to just give you the answers like this. I am going to bring you to finding your own answers within you. That is always going to be what I want, whether it's an Akashic Records reading that I do for you, whether it's a session, whether you take one of my courses, whatever it is. If you want to learn more on how to get more personalized advice, then read the description. And any questions that you have, any comments, any insights that you have received from this message right now, let me know. And right as I'm done with this, it is starting to pour rain. So kind of just let all the leaves fall release whatever is ready to be released, and I'll be back.